Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Summer Wells case. Let's start off with a disclaimer. I also want to add that everyone mentioned in this video, they're all innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Summer Moon Utah Wells, age 5, went missing from Rogersville, Tennessee on June 15, 2021 at approximately 6:30 p.m. in the unincorporated Beach Creek community off Ben Hill Road. Summer was not yet in school, as she was due to begin school this year, 2022. And she, by the way, she would have just celebrated her 6th birthday. So what happened to Summer Wells? Let's look at the players. And when I say players, I mean family members, people who are around that day. Candace Bly Wells is Summer's mother. Here's her picture. Donald Don Wells is Summer's father. Her siblings are Waylon, age 9, Wyatt, age 11, and Josie, age 12, all 3 brothers. And by the way, their names are in the media, otherwise I wouldn't mention it. And then there's Candace's mother, so Summer's grandmother. They're all 3 pictured here, and we call her Grandis because they're all named Candace, C-A-N-D-U-S. Also, Candace, the mother, has a daughter named Candace as well. So there's 3 Candaces, so we call Grandma Candace Grandis, just FYI. When I saw people covering this case, I wondered why in the world they called this woman Grandis, and now I totally know why, because it just makes things easier. I believe Grandis now is about 60 years old. And just note that both Dawn and Candace have children from previous relationships. Candace has 2, another Candace and an Andrew, who are both adopted out from foster care. So Summer Wells has a half sister and a half brother. I don't think she ever met them. And Dawn also has adult children. And I commonly like to drop the contact information. If you know anything about this case or if you've seen Summer, please give any of these 3 agencies a call. Okay, so let's get into the timeline of the day. It's June 15th, 2021. Most of us know what it was like that year, last year. You know, we all know kind of what we were going through. So let's harken back to that time. And also want to note for the record, the earlier timeline of this day is going to be tainted by the animus between the people involved, who now seem to be tossing shade at each other, more shade than magnolia trees in the summertime, okay? So take this part of the timeline with not just a little bit of salt, but an entire salt shaker of salt. So it's June 15th, 2021, and Candace Wells takes her mother, Grandis, to the hospital at approximately 8 a.m. Grandis had allegedly injured her artificial knee while in Gatlinburg, so Candace takes Grandis to the Holston Valley ER in Kingsport, Tennessee. Here's a picture of Summer Wells sluicing for gemstones in Gatlinburg. So this was probably the same trip wherein Grandis hurt her knee. So Candace, Grandis, and Summer are off doing the ER visit for Grandis. And allegedly, Candace was in the emergency room and she texted this 15-year-old boy in Kingsport that they were running errands. And they had some time to burn. And Candace said that H, we'll call him H, called her back and said, "You want to come over for a second while you wait?" And she allegedly said, "Ask your mom." And that if it's okay with Allison, her name's Allison, the mother. And he allegedly said it's fine. And of course, these folks have given various versions of this, so we're just going to go with a just generic. They decided they're going to meet up. The problem is that this is Allie, that's H's mom. H is here on the far left. I'll circle his face. And then that's Allie's mother in the upper right-hand corner of this picture. And long story short, they decide that they're going to go fishing and or swimming. Later on, and we'll get into it, Chris McDonough from the interview room, that's where this still's from, and thank you for the information because it's real helpful. He interviews Allie, the grandma and Hunter, and one of her friends. And she trash talks Candace, saying how they'd been friends for 1.5 years, that she felt like a sister to Candace, but now they think she's dirty and that she didn't make her kids mind and all kinds of other scurrilous things. May or may not be true, I don't know. But there's some bad blood, needless to say. Just to give you an idea, Allie now claims that she feels like Candace used her for food and for money. Allie says that Candace is a recovering meth addict and that Candace drinks every night starting at about 5:30 p.m. and smokes weed daily. And we'll get into later why there's more scaffolding to this discussion. But for now, let's just go with the fact that was allowed to go with Candace and essentially with Grandis and Summer to the fishing hole. So it's 10:30 a.m. Candace shows up at Allie and H's house, and Allie said that Candace, Grandis, and Summer showed up. And H goes off with them under the idea that they're going fishing until Grandis's prescription was ready. See, she went to see the ER about her pain in her knee, and I don't know what kind of script she got, but they were waiting on that script. And H said he wanted out of the house, so he went along. He also apparently was under the impression that the Wells boys were at work with Don Wells, but allegedly they were home stuck inside the house. The recollection of H and Candace regarding what they did first isn't exactly the same, but I really don't think it matters. Basically, they picked up some stuff. They went to Warriors State Park. They picked up some more stuff. Candace admits that while they waited for the pharmacy to fill Grandis's prescription, it was an estimated 30 to 35 minute wait. So she bought a can of twisted iced tea for Grandis at a Catch-22. I don't know if she just bought the one or what, okay? She also bought nicotine vape Skittles flavor in a 3-pack from the Hippie House. Of course, they do go to the Walgreens. They also end up going to the grocery store, and I believe that's after they go to the fishing pond. And this is why this is going to become interesting about the alcohol. Did Candace supply this H kid with alcohol? Quote, he asked for one. I said he can't take one. H said that he consumed the drink when they were at the Warriors Path Pond. But mind you, H is a minor currently on probation. First of all, they don't need to be drinking, minors, and they don't need to be on probation drinking. So, bad, right? So the gang go to the Warriors Path Pond, and this is where we also have the first theory, the dry drowning theory. Okay, we'll just put that to the side. H, the 15-year-old boy, went to the swimming hole with the group, Candace, Grandis, and Summer. He said that Grandis pretty much stayed in the car. Candace shows through demonstrations with interviews of how she helped Grandis with her cane get to the pond. Believe what you want to believe. I don't really think it matters. Truly, I don't think it really matters for the story that nobody can tell the same tale, right? Anyway, Candace says that she put Summer's bathing suit on under her clothes that day because it was so hot. And we're talking June in Tennessee. It is hot. So she says that once they were at the pond, H splashed Summer, and he also threw up some gang signs while she was filming a TikTok. And here you have the actual footage from that day. So this footage is from that day at the swimming hole, which she did then later upload. So H said that Grandis stayed in the car at the swimming hole, or at least for a portion of the time, and H claims that Summer was under the water for like, quote, 10 seconds, and that he went to check on her, but she was just under the water and she was fine. But thus the dry drowning theory was then born. You'll see here in this footage, again, this is the actual footage from that day. She's swimming around. She's happy as a fish. She's spitting the water. She's jumping around. You don't see her actually go under for any amount of time in this footage. Also note, this is the outfit she had on that day. It looks like a bathing suit with a strap back. It looks pink and white with pink shorts. So pink. Pink was the color of the day. Keep that in mind. And then the phone pans over to H, the 15-year-old. Mind you, the phone is being held by Candace, allegedly. And then you will see H splash Summer while she's playing. Also, you will see H throwing some hand signs. So he's splashing at Summer, and you can see even though she's kind of crouching down, the water isn't over her head or anything. And then this, and I just want to juxtapose the pictures, the video of Summer splashing around to being here in the car conked out. Now, let me tell you what happened. What happened allegedly is they got done swimming and they went to Sonic and they went to the grocery store and got some milk, among other things. Allegedly, Candace and Grandis went to the store. Allegedly, Hunter and Summer stayed in the car. Now, did the car get overheated? I have no idea. All I know is then they dropped off H around 2 to 2:30 at his house. Okay. The players don't even agree about the placement of the milk. Candace had said the milk had been in Hunter's lap when he got out of the car at 2 o'clock, around 2:30, when he was dropped off at home, and that the milk then was propped up like so here in the picture. But if you look at the picture, it would seem that Hunter likely sat to Summer's left, the right of the picture here, if you're looking straight on, where that Orange Crush bottle is. That's likely where Hunter came in and left when he got out of the car. That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? So H is dropped off around 2:30, and his mother, Allie, sees Summer sleeping in the back seat against the milk, like in this picture. So again, this would make sense if H left out of the car via the right back passenger seat. And H says that Summer was alive in the car and that she just fell asleep. But his quote is this: "She was dead asleep in the back." Personally, I don't like that. That's bad language. Dead asleep. Like, your brain is going to tell the truth even if you don't want it to. And in my opinion, this is just my speculation, in my opinion, dead asleep is not good when you cannot find a child right now. But that's what he said. She was dead asleep in the back. He also tells a very concerning story, catch this, about Dawn Wells calling Candace and speaking to her about some dude, Andy, quote unquote, on their property who was stalking little kids. Like, while they're driving around, this is being discussed. Some dude on the property wanting to touch kids. Hello, that's weird and highly sus, and why this is being brought up now, I have no idea. Make of that what you will. So this still is from a video that Grandis took on that day, allegedly. Candace tells Grandis to take a picture of Summer sleeping against the vehicle's back seat against the milk jugs. Allegedly, she had her arm up, quote unquote, just like Dawn, sleeping just like her dad. And in the video that Grandis took, Summer seen sleeping against 2-gallon jugs of milk, laying right on the milk. And you got to wonder, like, how warm was that milk? Most people wouldn't want to put their head directly on very cold milk. And some people have speculated that she was not with us at this point, but if you note, her lips are pink in color, her skin is a normal color, she's not blue, she's not gray. She seems alive but unconscious, clearly unconscious. Back at the Wells property at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, Candace allegedly says, "Wake up, we're home," and Summer, quote unquote, jumped up like nothing. I'm going to show you a very short snippet of an interview that Chris McDonough did with Candace Wells here.
When you pulled up, did she just fall asleep next to that?
She fell asleep, I'd say maybe 5 minutes on the road.
Okay.
Then Chris McDonough asks her about the milk to try to get her nailed down about how Summer fell asleep on the milk in the backseat.
Okay, so walk me through that.
When we dropped him off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put him on the other side of Summer.
Okay, so he reached over?
Yeah, he set him over there by that. What's a black tote she had in there?
Okay, where's that tote at?
I think actually my mom's got it still in her truck. It's got a bunch of crafts and stuff in it.
Okay, got it.
Candace said that she then got the Wells boys from inside the house who'd been sitting at a table to help bring in the groceries. She then separated Grandis's groceries from her own. So if the groceries are getting separated and put away at 3:30, and at 5:30 she's transplanting plants with Grandis, succulents, into pots. That's the next step. I don't know what went on between 3:30 and 5:30, so make a note of that. Allegedly at 5:30, Grandis was looking off into the distance, and Candace asked her what was up, and Grandis said, "We got to get these plants transplanted into bigger pots." That was in reference to these little cactus succulents she had outside of her camper. And allegedly Summer, Candace, and the grandmother were then planting transplanting the succulents into bigger pots right outside the family home. So that's 20 feet from Grandis's trailer. And the story goes that after transplanting the flowers, they washed their hands in Grandis's camper. Grandis gave Summer a peppermint candy, and Summer then went in the main house. The boys were supposedly in that kitchen area in front of the TV still. Candace was helping Grandis then with her knee brace for 2 to 5 minutes. And again, notice that distance from the camper to the house. Everybody's within yelling distance, in my opinion. It goes that the Wells boys then went back to watching television, YouTube videos in the kitchen, right here at this table, facing that TV, and that Summer then told her brother she was going downstairs to her room to play with toys. And if you see that there's something that looks like a bar or something in front of the TV, that's a little tiny little stairway that you have to back down into. It's almost like a hidden stairway. Downstairs is her bedroom. Summer's bedroom was in the basement. That basement door was unlocked, but believed to be closed. According to Candace's recollection, Summer's siblings were the last to see her. Candace then called out for Summer after she was done helping Grandis with her knee brace, and Summer doesn't come, and Candace then becomes alarmed. And just like that, Summer was gone. Let's watch Chris interview Candace for the interview room.
I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on me. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay, so this is like her.
Yeah, she just
where she
walks.
come running out.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you can see the path
just
here.
go right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she could have run right up to
and
here.
this is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
Meanwhile, Don Wells was at work, and he's a drywall taper, so he finishes drywall. Allegedly, he was driving his Subaru that day, and Candace said that she did not search around the property, like the outlying property, looking for Summer when she couldn't find her, because Candace is afraid of the wildlife, and she cited bears, coyotes, and snakes. And Candace also insisted that Summer would not have gone off wandering in the woods, so she calls Dawn. Can we just talk for 1 second about the Wells residents in general? When Chris McDonough came to speak with Candace on a typical day to talk about Summer, this is what he was greeted with. And I ask you, does that look to you like a place where you could roll up and not have the dogs notice and bark at you? Everybody that has gone up there had noticed the dogs and noticed that they barked. Like, they barked their unneutered balls off at everybody who came around, okay? And there was lots of dogs, over a dozen dogs. I highly doubt somebody unknown to them came rolling up on their property. That's just my opinion. The Wells residence is about 750 square feet home. It's located on 11 acres of land in a very rural area. It's mountainous terrain. It's got dense foliage. It's got poor cell phone service. Also note that Grandis's camper is right there as well. And, you can't see the house from the road. And their driveway is circular. And it's got ruts and potholes in it. So no one's just going to roll right up to their house without being noted and noticed by the people if they're there. That's my opinion. These German Shepherd, short hair pointer, mutts, dogs that look like Jack Russells, they're your burglar alarms. They're your built-in burglar alarms, and I highly doubt somebody came up and abducted Summer from that property. That's my opinion. Could she have wandered off and been abducted off the road? Sure, that's possible. So Candace called Don at work, and he told her to call 911, and he also called 911. And the 911 call was logged at 6:23 p.m., and apparently the dispatch call has been released that relays that there was a missing 4-year-old girl and that the mother, quote, went on a walk and can't find her. Now, regarding the age being incorrect and the situation, the description being incorrect, it's thought that this misinformation came from Don Wells translation to the 911 operator and not Candace's recollection. In other words, she was frantic telling him what she thought, and then when he related to 911 on his own, that maybe he got it wrong. I don't know why the age is wrong, by the way. The Wells family has social media, and this is from the Find Summer Wells website, the words of Candace Bly Wells. The day, June 15th, 2021. We come home, and then me and my mom, the boys were in watching YouTube like they always do. My mom says, let's rearrange and plant the flowers. She goes, well, we know the boys aren't going to help us. I know Summer will. So I yelled for Summer. She was in the house with the boys. She comes out and she was planting flowers with us. The flowers were put in planters next to Grandma Candy's camper. By the way, that's Grandis. They call her Candy. With Summer handling some of the tasks. She put all the rocks on top, put Chaste in there. She did all the rocks herself. We went into Grandmother's after we were done. She asked Grandma for a piece of candy. Grandma gave her a piece of candy. She told me she wanted to go back over with her brother, so I literally walked her halfway between the camper and the house. I watched her go in the door and could see her brothers at the kitchen table. When she went in, I walked over and yelled at the boys. I said, watch Summer, I'll be right back. I've got to fix Mom's knee brace. I was standing right there at the camper. I was over there fixing it. Literally, you can see my house from the camper door. She did not walk back out that front door. So I went down there and I searched. I looked everywhere I could. Then I went through the house and I kept calling for her, yelling for her, everything. I came out here, outside, yelling for her, everything else, and she was nowhere. So I called Don because I was freaking out. I said, I can't find Summer. Get home now. He was like, call 911. So I dropped my phone because I had to run over and get Mom's phone and dial 911 because her AT&T phone is the only one that works out here to call 911. So I called them and told them what's going on. Before the cops even came out, I went down and told my neighbor, Summer's missing. Will you help me look? Just in case she did wander off. But I knew in the back of my mind she's never wandered off. She's never went nowhere without me. She'll ask me to do something before she even goes and does it. And she's scared to go in the woods herself because we've told her time and time again because of the bears and the snakes. I sent the older boys down through the creek. If they've got a walkie-talkie and their buck knife, they can go down through there. I sent all them searching, and I went out in my mom's truck and went all the way down by the church. Then I went all the way down the other way and didn't see nobody even out and about. Then I went all the way back in the holler as far as the truck can go, and I didn't see nothing back in there either. When I was coming back up out of the holler, the cops were coming up in my driveway, so I just followed them up in here. The words of Candace Bly Wells. Don Wells, the dad, was allegedly at work. The police arrived at the scene before he did. He worked for Tucker Drywall. Seemingly, as the story is currently told, Don Wells has or had no insider knowledge on the disappearance of his daughter. And what he said seemingly to everyone in the following hours and days came from Candace and possibly from the kids. So he's like recounting what he's heard. Let's cut back to H and his mother Allison, who had been friends with Candace. And this gets really wild. Everything between their recollection and the Candace story, it's very divergent. It's very off. It's strange. It's why are you saying this stuff? Is it because it's true or is it a diversion? I don't know, but listen to this. Allegedly, according to them, Candace called H while he was at the ball field because that's where he went after he got dropped off. He went to the ball field. And Candace tells H that Summer's missing. And so then H turns around and tells his mother, Allie, that Summer's missing. But Allie thinks it's just a ruse to get Allie on the phone with Candace. For some reason, she doesn't believe it. Then allegedly, H's mother then looks on Facebook and sees that there's like a Summer is missing thing that's put up. So then she believes it. So now they say that they think Candace killed Summer. That's what they're saying. And later it even gets even wilder where H claims that Candace came over to his house to talk to him, seemingly about, like, don't tell the police, essentially that I gave you alcohol, that kind of a thing, okay, allegedly. But later H claims that he snooped through Candace's phone and found text with her drug dealer Andy And H claims that 13 messages were deleted, that he knows how to find deleted messages. I mean, I don't believe this. I mean, I don't believe that a 15-year-old kid would know about Candace's drug dealer unless he was involved in some way. It's crazy to me that mama even let him tell a reporter this kind of stuff, because it makes everyone completely suspect. It's hinky to the 10th degree. I don't understand. Seemingly Candace probably did call Hunter and say that she was missing. And the fact that all of a sudden this other group is giving all these dry drowning possibility theories, and this theory about some kitty fiddler up on the mountain, and this concept of drug dealing, I mean, it's like a spaghetti thing. Like, all of a sudden this other party is like giving all these reasons and theories about Summer. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, one would be enough. The drug dealer would be enough. The dry drowning would be enough. But no, we're going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. It's all suspect to me. I'm not saying I believe Candace. I'm saying I don't believe any of them. So let's get back to something that we can be sure of: the search. The scent dogs, bloodhounds, were deployed to the residence and tracked Summer's scent from her clothing. The dogs led from the house through the woods down to Ben Hill Road. And Don Wells believes that Summer was abducted and taken down a trail to the Ben Hill Road. He says, quote, straight down dog trail right next to the yellow generator. And that's why I was showing that picture of the yellow generator for so long before, because that's the path that I guess the dogs scented. The writing here you see is from the Wells family website. Not sure how much they know about dog scenting. I actually did search and rescue as a volunteer with the dog team, so I know a little bit about dog scenting. I don't think they know what they're talking about here. That's just my personal opinion. They say they're not sure if the scent came from Summer directly or if her scent was on their dogs. They used a piece of her clothing. The dogs know her scent, know that unique scent, and will follow it. Does that mean that scent could have been there the day before? That's actually possible. But more than likely, the dogs were probably pretty accurate with it being her scent, not one of the kids' scent or the dog's scent. They don't know what, in my opinion, they're not sure what they're talking about. The dogs sent straight down the dog trail, which, funnily enough, neither parent seemed to understand that there was a dog trail. I don't understand, like, where you've got a piece of property and some of the people on the property don't know what's on their property or aren't familiar with their property. Perhaps Candace just did not go into the lower parts because maybe she was afraid of the wildlife. But when you see in the videos, there is literally the kids' stuff all down that property. So those kids went down the property. Make no mistake about it. The interview room also captured a bit of this area.
And this is that road down behind the property. Back there you can see.
Do you see what I'm saying there? That's the kind of stuff all the way down into that holler. There's stuff everywhere. Kid stuff, trash, garbage, toys. So the authorities showed up. They took a look around. They started searching. On midnight on June 16th, 2021, the TBI issued an endangered child alert, which later turned into an Amber Alert. So law enforcement arrives and the search for Summer Wells begins. Investigators and search crews set up at the Mount Carmel Church. Drones were used. The Hawkins County Rescue Squad kept searching for Summer even on Father's Day. Texas EquiSearch was called to come out around June 19th to 20th, but Tim Miller was hospitalized, so another branch came out to search and help. And within 2 days, 2,000 acres of woods and land were searched for Summer Wells. For the search, Verizon and AT&T also kindly brought in cell signal boosts to aid the reception. The TBI also brought in the FBI as well. The FBI deployed the CARD team, that's the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, that also investigate the, quote, mysterious disappearance of children. And I believe they were deployed out of the Knoxville field office of the FBI. So you've got the TBI, you've got the FBI, and you have the Hawkins County Sheriff's and any other associated search and rescue and law enforcement. So that's a lot of boots on the ground there. Law enforcement interviewed the neighbors, and apparently 2 women, I think it was a mother and her daughter, heard a scream around the time frame that Summer went missing. I'm not sure if that has yet been ruled out, but that is to be noted. I believe that someone heard a scream and then maybe one car door shut. On June 20th, 2021, the TBI asked the public regarding a lead. The lead was someone saw an unfamiliar vehicle, 1998 to 2000 red or maroon Toyota Tacoma with a full bed, a ladder rack, and white buckets like cans in the bed of the truck. And this truck was allegedly spotted in an area either on the 14th or on the 15th, around the time that Summer went missing. We're not sure who saw that, who gave that lead, but that was the one lead that the TBI put out. And then around 5 or 6 weeks later, CPS removed the remaining children from the Wells household.
Interviewed Wells before and saw rumors circulating on social media that the older children had been removed from the home.
Allegedly, CPS thought the house was dangerous. I mean, to me, it looked like it was under construction. And Dodd said that he was glad that CPS took the kids as it was, quote, too dangerous due to the trespassers approaching the house and some walls needed to be put up. The public does not know why CPS removed the boys. They still to this date have not been returned to the Wells residence, and we're in 2022. Both parents took lie detector tests and both said they passed them. And they also went on Dr. Phil, and of course you know that he did them dirty. Dr. Phil had behavioral analysts and body language experts talking and asking her about cornbread mafia, and she couldn't take it anymore and took off her mic and left.
No, I want to go.
These are tough questions.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I am. No, I want out, and I want to go home.
I'm down.
On June 21st, Don Wells was telling people he believed that someone took Summer out of the area, and he even mentioned human trafficking. He did. But conversely, he's also convinced that Summer is dead. And I have to say, why? Why? If you think someone took her, then why would you also believe that she was dead? To me, that makes no sense. Like, I could understand you think that she wandered off and it was inclement weather and you think she's dead. Or you think that someone took her from you, but then why would you think she was dead? Unless there was some kind of a crime scene. You know what I'm saying? So it makes no sense to me. Both Candace and Dawn have spoken with YouTubers and people on social media, and one of the people that I think they're on good terms with, Benny, he made a comment to Benny that, quote, God may be my only hope of seeing Summer again. So to me, Dawn is pretty sure that Summer's dead, and I gotta wonder if what he knows that the rest of us don't know.
What do you think happened? Where would a suspect have been, in your opinion, in this?
My opinion?
Yeah, in this area.
They could have been sitting anywhere. They could have been sitting over here, just off the little edge right here, or where the bus is, that little bushy area right there. They could have been sitting right
out
there.
here.
And then after the TikTok video was reviewed from the trip to the pond, remember when they went to the Warrior Pond, the police came to Allie and H's home to speak with H, I guess. And allegedly, according to what they are saying, Candace showed up later to speak with H to inquire what he told the police. Again, I mentioned this before, maybe that's because she was worried about supplying a minor with alcohol in the vape, allegedly, or maybe it was something more. I have no idea. All I know is that it's messy and it's not good. And Candace also opened her door to a retired investigator turned YouTuber. That's Chris McDonough of the Interview Room. He's the one here interviewing Allison. And that's also the video that I showed. And I bet it's very revealing. His interviews regarding this case are really revealing, but I'm really sure that Candace and Dawn regret giving any interviews now because it's just revealed so much and not necessarily in a good light. I mean, this is why you get an attorney and you don't talk to people, because these kind of prior inconsistent statements start stacking up everywhere. And granted, when you're talking to somebody like this, you're not under oath to them. You can lie to them if you want to, but it's just like an inconsistent statement. The time you have to be truthful is when you're in court, when you're talking to law enforcement, you know, when you're in church with your God, you need to be truthful. When you're talking to YouTubers that come to your home, you have to be truthful? No. But if you're coming up with all these different stories and then they're inconsistent, that's not good. And that's why you sometimes need an attorney and need to follow your attorney's advice, because all these statements and all this wackadoo stuff is not going to play good for any of the people involved. FYI.
What about the rumors of this relationship situation with Hunter?
Are you crazy? I got a husband and 4 kids that I love to death.
Okay.
To me, Hunter was another one of my kids.
Okay.
That's how I felt about any kid.
Okay. Now, when I was on the phone with you yesterday briefly,
yes,
you said he got the story out of order.
Yeah.
Okay. But it sounded like he was kind of telling the truth there.
He was kind of telling the truth, but the way he was telling where we went and how we did it was all twisted up now.
What's different that you want to clear up?
Well, because when we left from the emergency room, we went straight to the smoke shop, and that's when I got the cigarettes and stuff like that there. And then we stopped at the hippie house, and I got those cheap vapes because they're cheap there. And then we went and put my mom's prescription in, and then we went to Warriors. And then we come back to Walgreens, got mom's prescription, went to Sonic, then to Priceless, then to his house.
Okay.
And that's exactly
the order. Okay.
And also, if you think your child has been abducted, what most parents do is they go and they plead with the public for help finding their child, and plead to the abductor of their child, and plead to their child. We have only seen one plea, and it was out of Candace. And then I think this post also was posted somewhere on a Tennessee Missing Updates and Discussion Candace post here, which you see here on your screen. But that's pretty much the depth and the width of the pleas that we've seen, which is really thin on the ground for someone who thinks that their child was snatched. Then at one point, Don seems to kind of throw Candace under the bus, because when he's asked a question, he makes the comment that sometimes she chooses the wrong friends. And I don't know if that was talking about that Allie, or if he was referring to some male friend. I mean, we really don't know. We don't know what's going on with these folks. So Don Wells goes on Facebook and posts, "I'm not supposed to say anything, not supposed to defend myself, Candace or Summer. I know, and I mean I know, she was abducted. If this was your daughter and hardly anyone listened to you but made it a point to make fun of the situation, how would you react? Knowing while all these supposed professional search teams are wasting time and poking fun at your expense, how would you feel?" Okay, side note, I wasn't following this case back when he posted this, and he's making it very clear that he thinks that she was abducted. Now, by that same token, if you think she was abducted, why don't you believe she's alive? That's my first point. Second point, I don't know who in the world is making fun of this situation. There's absolutely nothing funny about it. Third point, who are the supposed professional search teams? I don't know if he's talking about YouTubers that went around searching. I really, truly don't know. But as far as I know, the search teams that were involved were all professional, and to be like poking around, I mean, hello, that's their job, is to get out there and beat the bush and to search, grid search and all that. So don't ever make fun of the volunteer professional search teams. Never, never, never. He continues, "If they would have listened to me and blocked all roads leading out of our area, maybe things would be different. Maybe my Summer would be with me now. Why is it okay for these hypocrites to say evil things about us constantly? We can say nothing. I'm just going to say this. When they brought the bloodhound and it smelled Summer's clothes," okay, there he says it. The dog smelled her clothes. All right, so that tells you right there. "It went straight down the dog trail next to the yellow generator to the road and circled, meaning end of trail." Okay, thanks, Don. Why hasn't there been a profile of the abductor? Well, maybe because, does he mean a psychological profile? Because I don't think anyone saw a physical person. Let me know if you know, guys. Let's continue. Or possibly different types of abductors it could possibly be. Sorry for losing my cool. What I'm trying to say probably is quit wasting time and think in terms of where an abductor might take her, please. I'm begging for my daughter's life, and thanks to you who are truly helping, and to the others, I guess I have to pray for you. All right, let's break this down. Basically, no shade. He lost his cool. I would have lost my cool 1,000 times. You know, his daughter's missing, so it's expected to lose your cool. Quit wasting time and think in terms of where an abductor might take her, please. I'm sure the FBI is doing that, Dawn. That's their specialization with the card team. So I'm sure the FBI's got that handled. He's begging for his daughter's life. Oh, wow. So now you think she's alive now? Okay, that's great. I hope she is. I need to mention that people have befriended the family, if you want to call it befriending, and someone friended up Grandis and began to have text conversations with her. I'm not going to share that here because I'm sure Grandis never thought that they would be made public. And in a long exchange, allegedly, Grandis seemed open to the possibility of Dawn being involved in the disappearance. Now, I don't know if she was just gassing up this other person. You know, she was texting with a random, and that person made the communications public. But seemingly, if you wanted to say, what did you get out of reading all of that? I got out of it that Grandis seemed open to the possibility of Dawn being involved again, but she could have just been going by a narrative and gassing this other person up. Who knows? The sheriff has said clearly that everyone is a person of interest in this case. And I think that still stands now. Everyone is a person of interest. Let's talk about the past incidents. So before Summer went missing, we're going to talk about the people, the players, the families' past incidents. Some people say that past is prologue. Not necessarily. You can have made mistakes in your life and try to be a better person and then have something really crappy happen to you that has nothing that's out of your control. So we truly don't know. We don't know. But I'm going to talk about the past incidents, and I'm going to talk about them fairly, I hope. So let's get into it. Throughout the years, Candace has been arrested. Here are some of her mugshots, and I do believe that they were drug related. So she has a drug history, but allegedly she was recovering. And if you look at these mugshots, they're old. She looks nothing like this now. And to those who believe the family was involved in Summer's disappearance and in something sinister, they cite Dawn's prior criminal history of alleged burglary, theft, and forgery. Other theories regarding Summer's disappearance involve SA, and YouTube algorithm needs, that's why I'm saying SA, and also that maybe she was sold. And this is born out of this information. Dawn's stepsister contacted the TBI allegedly the day after she heard about Summer's disappearance. So right away. And allegedly, she's saying that he had childhood SA with her. And allegedly, according to Dawn, he admitted to it, to relations with his stepsister when he was 12 and she was only 5 years old. So that does not bode well. Allegedly, other family members and associates have come forward and also alleged SA from when Dawn was younger. I don't think there's anything that he was alleged to have done in his older years, but from when Dawn was younger. So that does not sound good at all. So does the concept that Candace may have had a previous drug addiction, previous serious drug addiction, and maybe drinks at night and smokes some pot now in the current when Summer went missing era, and the allegation that Dawn had SA with young family members when he was also younger, does that mean that they hurt their daughter? Not necessarily. But will the concept of essay, the concept of neglect, the concept of who you run with and who you associate with and things like that, your past is prologue, will those theories and concepts be looked at by the authorities? Absolutely they will. Here are some past incidents running up to before Summer going missing. On October 14th, there was an order of protection filed by Candace against Don, and allegedly he had come home drunk and found a man in the house with Candace, and allegedly there was a struggle with Candace where she was pushed down, and she swore under oath that he drinks and throws things, and that she was, quote, afraid of being hurt, and that Don was abusive both physically and mentally. And there's more about this story that's emerged, and it's believed that this man being referred to as that Jose guy that was associated with H's mom, Allie. I think I mentioned that earlier. So from what I can piece together from their stories that aren't that aren't consistent, in my opinion, Allie had some association with this Jose fellow, and that he and Allie ended up at the Wells residence, and then Allie left and Jose stayed, and there was some kind of a triangle, and this ends up causing a rift with Allie and Candace, and that made Don angry because he was out of town. And then Grandis ends up driving Jose to North Carolina, and seemingly this is the reason that Allie and Candace have bad blood, but not bad enough that H was not allowed to hang out with Candace and go on that swimming hole adventure that of the day that Summer went missing. So does that make sense? And there were some more domestic incidents after Summer went missing. Okay. And there's some oddities. There's some oddities in this case. I'm not going to get off on the tangents here because one is not applicable to Summer's disappearance for sure, that allegedly Don's 34-year-old son was a convicted SA in Arkansas in 2007. But since he was not in the state on the date that Summer went missing, he's not a POI, so let's not even address it. It's just another thing to add to the knowledge base. Another, and this one's an extreme oddity, a sister of Candace Wells, Rose Marie Bly, known as Rosie, she disappeared in Polk County, Wisconsin in 2009, and her car was found in a parking lot 30 miles away. Allegedly, Candace and Dawn, they weren't in the state when that happened, Wisconsin, 2009. So seemingly they didn't have anything to do with her disappearance. It's just another extreme oddity to have two family members go missing out of a family, don't you think? I mean, so I think that that's something to be covered because she's still missing, Rose Marie Bly, but right now I'm not going to go there because allegedly it's not applicable. Then in late January of 2022, again this is after Summer went missing, Dawn Wells allegedly hit Candace. According to Candace, there was a domestic call. She called in 911 and she accused him of assault. And they both had been drinking, and Dawn denied harming Candace, and there were no arrests. Dawn was also arrested for drunk driving with whiskey in the passenger seat, allegedly. And he claimed he had an argument with Candace and he just wanted to get away from her. And Dawn discussed the incident, and he explained it was part of the emotional toll of Summer's disappearance. You know, back in July, his 3 sons had been taken away by CPS, and Summer is still missing, so he's seemingly drinking away his pain. And he says, quote, they, being CPS, come at me and said, either posing, said that they had the inside scoop with the TBI and that they knew I sold my daughter for drugs, and I flipped out. Again, just thinking from the legal standpoint, you don't want to be making statements like this out to, to media, on the record, to anybody. You don't. These folks, it's clear they don't have an attorney, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. They don't have an attorney telling them to hush, to straight up hush. Because none of this looks good. It doesn't look good for him. It doesn't look good for her. It doesn't look good for his case. And it takes away from his daughter being missing, correct? On February 8th, 2022, Don Wells pled guilty and was sentenced for his DUI. He was sentenced to 11 months and 29 days in jail, and he may be eligible for probation after 180 days. Now, mind you, on regular probation, if you violate, then you'll have to do your full entire sentence. So let's tuck in and talk about what the TBI has put out. And I kind of like this. They put out a frequently asked questions and they've answered it. I like this. This can maybe keep some of the speculation down to a dull roar. So let's go through some of the FAQs from the TBI's newsroom. Question: have you searched the flower bed? There was not a flower bed. Summer's mother and grandmother stated that she was planting flowers with them shortly before she was last seen. The flowers are planted in pots, and yes, the pots were examined. I kind of like that, sort of shady, and yes, the pots were examined. Have you searched the waterways in the area? Yes, dive teams were brought in to search the bodies of water in the area. And by the way, in this video, you can see pictures of the pots and search of the bodies of water done by the TBI. Question: have you conducted aerial searches? Yes. Numerous searches from the air have been completed, especially during the first few weeks after Summer went missing. Additionally, drones were used to map the area and to pinpoint bodies of water, as well as any other points of interest. Again, pictures of that are also in the earlier part of this video. Have you collected and reviewed surveillance video? Yes, we've collected surveillance photos and videos from a variety of locations. Additionally, the entire area was canvassed in an effort to locate any residential cameras that weren't voluntarily reported. Please keep in mind that the Beach Creek area of Hawkins County is very rural with few businesses and no traffic cameras. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Question: when was Summer last seen? Answer: her mother reports last seeing her on the afternoon of June 15th at their home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we will not provide additional information regarding the timeline. By what you're not saying is saying something. That's in my opinion. I'm getting something out of that response. I'll just let you guys make a comment in the comment section there. Question: have you searched the home and property around the residence? Yes, more than once, including the basement, crawl space, all vehicles, outbuildings, barrels, and other items located on the property. Additionally, K-9 teams specializing in a variety of search methods have also been utilized. In other words, in my opinion, they mean scent dogs, like for searching for people, and also cadaver dogs for searching for human remains. Question: have you searched the phones and computers belonging to the Wells family? Answer: yes. Working alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, numerous subpoenas and search warrants have been obtained, resulting in any available digital evidence being collected, searched, and documented. This includes social media accounts. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the FBI has used the CAST technology they have and the ability that they have through Celebrite to go ahead and put together a digital footprint and profile for each person, where they were, what they were doing. They probably have that all mapped out, except for the part that it being really rural, maybe the cell phones would not register in all the different places, but around Kingsport it should, because there's a lot of activity there, but maybe not near their home. Just FYI. Question: have you questioned the neighbors and searched their properties? Answer: yes. Have you questioned registered SAs in the area? Yes. Is there evidence that Summer was abducted? None that we've developed at this stage. And keep in mind, they do update this newsroom, so if there's any new things that they want to tell the public, they will. Question: is the FBI involved? Yes, they've been involved since the Amber Alert was issued. Additionally, in the first week, the FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment, that's called the CARD team, responded to the area. FBI agents continue to assist with the investigation. Question: why did you release information about a Toyota truck? An individual who travels through the area regularly as a part of his job stated that he recalls possibly seeing a 1999 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. The individual stated that the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. That vehicle was not captured on surveillance cameras. In an effort to cover all bases and identify the driver, the TBI, in agreement with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, released the vehicle description. Our hope was that the individual might have information that could help with the investigation. The driver has not come forward, nor have the hundreds of vehicles reported to us as matching the description panned out. Note that there's still a reward for information leading to Summer Wells. I think at last count it was up to $73,700. It could be less or more depending. Sometimes people only pledge the amount for, say, a year. But at last count, it was at $73,700. That's a lot of money. Okay, so here's my opinion. This is pure speculation in my opinion going forward. In my opinion, this was a toxic household. Not due to the poverty or the location. You know, most folks in this area, this region, are salt of the earth. I feel like this was a toxic environment for Summer due to the alleged drug abuse, the alleged alcohol, and the domestic incidents. It's toxic. And Summer's filthy in many of her photos. And it just breaks my heart because the world is hard enough and no children should have that kind of a start in life coping with this. Okay? Even if it was just the filthiness of the surroundings, because even though you don't have money doesn't mean you can't be clean. That's my opinion. All right? So am I saying the fact that she went around dirty a lot and lived in a visually chaotic environment mean that her parents are responsible? No, I'm not saying that. But I personally think that they were quite neglectful of their children. And I hope that as parents of the remaining kids that they have, that they get their stuff together yesterday. Regarding the abduction theory, you couldn't see their house from the road. So how was Summer abducted from inside the house's basement? And if she left the basement of her own accord, how did she travel along an unknown path to the parents, seemingly known to the kids because their stuff's all over, down to the road of her own accord at 5 years old without shoes on? And if there was an abductor up on their property, did the Wells's dogs not bark at strangers that day? Did they all of a sudden not bark that day? It makes no sense because they barked like I said, their unneutered balls off at people every time somebody went up to the house in videos and on the interview room with Chris McDonough. So Summer's only 5. They say she wasn't prone to wandering around. I don't know how accurate that is. So how did no one hear the basement door open? A hidden predator would need to be sitting there watching, not, leaving a truck down the road and then have expert timing and just happen to have Summer wandering off and just lay in wait like a spider and snatch her. I just don't think she was stone cold abducted. So I say nope on that. Now, could she have chased her brothers on their dirt bikes? Like they get home, the kids have been cooped up from 8 to 3:30. So finally they get out, they get on their dirt bikes, and she's chasing behind them down this trail, and they get on the main road with their bikes, probably not supposed to do it, you know what I'm saying? And then she goes and follows along and gets kind of, I wouldn't say lost, but maybe a car comes along, picks her up. Now that would be more believable and would match what the dog scent. Now I have concerns about Grandis's prescription that day after her ER visit. Because if you're going to go and you're going to get like a steroid for your knee, but you're in amazing pain, they never said what it was. They didn't say whether it was a pain med or a steroid, but I'm leaning towards pain med. If someone said, give me a crystal ball, I'm going to rub it and say pain med. And we don't know. So I'm interested in the timing of that. And the other folks were interested in being around after it being filled. You following my line of thinking? And the age disparity between Grandis, age 60, and Candace, running up to age 40, and 8, she was age 15. You know, we can play a game that's called which of these things is not like the other one, which of these things just doesn't belong. You get what I'm saying? Why? Why is this kid hanging around with these older women without his mother there? Why? And why is he so fixated along with them with Grandis's damn prescription? I mean, if it was for Synthroid or something, no one would give a fart, right? So, speculation mode. Was someone going to use or sell this prescription? Why was H looking at Candace's phone for texts and know who her alleged drug dealer is? That's out of his own mouth, okay? This is a 15-year-old kid, for God's sake. That also leads me into the orange soda conspiracy. You know, there was that orange soda in the back seat with Summer. There's also something called lean. I mean, if you really want to go for it, go looking into lean. I mean, is it possible they made some lean with the med and Summer consumed it, passed out, and died? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would explain H wanting to distance himself and throwing all these theories of what could have happened to her when he wasn't allegedly around her when she went missing. And it would explain Summer being passed out. It would explain that maybe she passed later. It would explain why they would cover it up for fear of losing their other children. I mean, this is just speculation. This is just woodshedding. You know, I don't like everyone's fixation on Grandis's prescription meds because that's sus to me. Who cares? Who cares what this old woman's taking? And then there's the theory regarding dry drowning or heat exposure after they were running the errands, you know, after the swimming hole. I mean, it's possible. It's probably not very probable regarding the dry drowning. Exposure, I mean, this happens a lot to babies and stuff in the South and in hot climates where they're left in a car and they get heat stroke. They die from heat exposure. You know, she was old enough to open the car door. So you know what I mean? That's a difficult one with the heat exposure. I lean towards some kind of an accident, not an abduction. I think she was unsupervised. In my opinion, those kids ran wild like everything on that property. Wild. And perhaps they did come home as explained, and Summer began then playing with their brothers, who had been, like I said, cooped up from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Do you think that they came home and the boys still wanted to sit there looking at YouTube after they've looked at YouTube from 8 a.m. to 3:30? No. I think that when the gang got home, those boys bust out of that house and were probably jumped on their little motorbikes, and Summer probably ran after them, and maybe something happened there, or some kind of an accident, or maybe some creature got a hold of her. I mean, who knows? It's so confusing and so frustrating. You know, if these folks are purely innocent, they're the most guilty-looking innocent people on planet Earth. And it's like a train wrecked at the circus for these YouTubers that also look at this. But there is a young, innocent child here missing, and that really should be our focus. Our focus should be Summer. Where's Summer Wells? And I'm sure the authorities have done their job, and they've obtained all the footage needed from all these different places, like they said in their FAQ. And I'm sure that they are following up. And now that Dawn Wells is in jail, maybe if there is some knowledge between the parents, that maybe that'll come out. If there's been some kind of a fear of speaking out, maybe now is the time. I don't know. I think all the theories are valid at this point, so feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I mean, I welcome them, but just keep it classy, because these are people, no matter what happened, they're mourning the loss of their daughter that they love very much. So I'm not really interested in dragging people for filth. There's enough filth here anyway. If you happen to know anything, there's a huge reward, so go ahead and call this number here up on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for giving this case your attention. I understand it's over an hour long. It's taken me over a month to do this research, so I hope you found this informative. If you like these kind of videos, please hit the like and hit the subscribe bell. And without further ado, have an excellent day. Bye.